Hello everyone, welcome to today's YouTube video. I am going to make a tie dress, and I've seen a few on Pinterest and just like making a tie dress. It's been around for a while. I have finally collected enough to make two dresses, I think. I've collected a lot of blue ties and then I've collected a lot of red ties. So two dresses, that's four, two dresses. I have made tie things in the past, like this is a tie skirt I made. And I did this around a dress form, so like you can tell there's like a bum shape, and then it's flatter in the front because I only have a bum in the back. Anyways, I literally just sewed the ties over each other, and I created a waistband, put an invisible zipper in there, and called it a day. Don't know how I did that, so that's gonna be tonight's problem. It's the end of the day. It is like 8 o'clock, so the lighting is going to change. I just want to do this now because like I have a lot of energy right now. Don't know why, so I'm gonna show you all of the ties I have. I have a lot of blue ties. I didn't know how many I would need, honestly. There's quite a bit of them. Some of them are real ugly, some of them are real hideous. I found a Christian Dior tie and a Givenchy tie. The Christian Dior one went to my boyfriend, and the Givenchy one went to my brother because I don't want to wear those. Some of them are, oh, it looks so shiny on camera, but it's not that shiny in real life. Let me count how many ties I have. I have 24 ties. Oh, 25. I don't think I'll need 25 ties, but I have them. So the plan of action is literally just to sew up the center, and then I think I just want to do like a very simple dress. See how many ties it takes to go around this part of my body, I guess. Attaching a zipper, and I think for the straps, it would be cute if I did like this, and then have the dress. Yep, I've got my hair up, because it is hot. It is hot up here. I'm just gonna kind of hold it up to myself. Like, what's the appropriate length? At what point do I feel, okay. Let me try it on Judy. Oh my god, you've been getting side boob this whole time. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna start sewing them together. Start piecing them together and seeing how many it actually takes. Hi, oh my goodness, atrocious lighting. Wow, looks like I have a giant bug on the back of my head, but that's just my hair. You can see all my red ties hanging up behind here because for some reason my rabbit likes to eat the ends of the ties. And wow, I've kind of given up because there's all the ties on the floor and he's just going at it, which, you know, it's in his right, he can do that. So I'll sew like the end of the tie and then I'll alternate with the other end. Oh. Front tie, back tie, front tie, back tie, and I'm alternating because I found if I just did the front ties together, it would be like all small and it would take so many ties to like make a piece that fit my chest. So that's why I'm alternating, and it's going pretty good, I think. I just snipped them. It's good that I cut it this length because it's pretty much exactly in half for some of them. And I'm finding out now, some ties are way longer than others. This is me discovering that. Oh, look at it, it's all on the floor. All my rugs, because I live with a rabbit. And you're like, gross, it's on the floor with the rabbit. Well, I'll wash it. And also, it's for me. Or one of my friends, who probably has a rabbit. Anyways, so I'm just gonna continue with all of my ties. This took me a while. I don't even want to check the time right now. All right, it took me 2 hours to do this. Here we go. It would fit like this. I spin around. This is where I'm at so far. Here are my tips. Sew them together 2 at a time. Like do a thin one and a thick one, and then leave it, and then sew it on, and do 2 at a time. That's how I was able to keep it as even as I possibly could. You can tell in some places it's like listing a bit. And then I just went over the top with the top stitch just because they're falling apart. As soon as you cut a tie, it just like starts falling apart. Oh, so hopefully my second one will look a lot nicer. That being said, I have to go get an invisible zipper tomorrow. I think I'm honestly just gonna fold some bias tape over and sew over it maybe. We'll see. As of right now, like, that's pretty good. Yeah, it fits as a skirt. I guess if I make it into a dress, I also have the options to just leave the ties down and wear it as a skirt. Believe it or not, I only used 13 ties. Oh, if I use 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, because of all these ends are going to hold it up. Darn. I'll see how many red ties I have. I have it laid out on the end of my bed. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. It literally looks like a skirt, and you could probably wear it as a skirt, which I think is cool. So I'm going to show you how I construct the dress. I'm going to do it with the red ties this time, and I just cut them in long strips. Honestly, I just held it up to my body, and I figured, like, what's an appropriate length? I did it a few inches longer so I can always trim off the ends, and I literally cut all of my ties like this, that length, and then I left the ends long because I'm going to trim the ends once I attach them. The best way is working two at a time. Working two at a time with like a skinny end and then a big end. I find that's the best way. When I sew them, I start at the pointy ends, and when I measure them too, I measure it from here, from this point, and not from this point. Because like all of these angles of the points are totally different for each tie. So it's easier if you always measure from here. So like here and here. Then I overlap them and I sew them down. It doesn't matter which one you sew on top, as long as you do it consistently, like always sewing the right on top or always sewing the left on top. As long as that's consistent, you're good. You can do it inconsistently and it's still gonna turn out fine. For me, I like doing that. So here I am at my sewing machine, and I have my skinny one and my fat tie, or big and small tie, I don't know. I always start at this end, like I mentioned. I always do it at the corners here. I ignore the peaks pretty much. And I like to do right side over left side. I backstitch at the end. And then as I'm sewing, I just like checking on the bottom one and aligning it up as I go. I don't bother with pins because, you know, I find holding it down is just fine. And there we go. That's how I stitch them together. It looks pretty good, actually. I got really close. This is what the back side looks like. It's not as good as the front, honestly. Like, it's a bit uneven in some areas, but genuinely, I do not care. So from here, I just like doing groups of two and then sewing those groups of two together to form them. So I've stitched together a bunch of pieces. I do them in sections of two, like I mentioned. I find using the ones that are 100% silk, like this one is silk, like the more expensive ones, they slip so much and they just don't look as good. So if you have a lot of cheap ties, this is a great project for cheap ties. I like to attach them together 2 by 2, and I essentially do it the exact same way. Put the corners together, backstitch, and I just sew down the whole tie. There we go, and as you can see, these two are about the same length, and I just snip off that center one, and we have, you know, a pretty even base going. And then I just continue. I have this base going as well. Guess I'm gonna stitch those ones together before it gets too big. Look how even that is. Wow. Just gonna snip off these ends. There we go. And as you continue to do it, this kind of curves a bit because obviously like the ends are a lot long or a lot wider, so it just tends to curve, but looking like a pretty good base so far. It's so cute. All right, so here is my giant piece. Look at it. It's a little uneven. Honestly, maybe I should try this again and try it better. No, when I lay it out, look at that. By the time I sew it together like that, yeah, does it sit a little weird? Yeah. So this goes around me like this, and then I will have little straps here, and that's what I'm getting at. Obviously, I need to cover this horrendous thing with bias tape. I don't want to fold it down and sew it, honestly, because it's so thick. Actually, it's not bad. Either I use bias tape or I fold it down and sew. For some reason, the blue ties are thicker. Like, I think that looks really good because it's all tie. It's 100% ties. Hello. Oh my gosh. Whoa, look at that highlight on my cheek. I am just going to top stitch over top of everything just to make sure nothing really moves out of place. Sorry about the lighting. The lighting must have been so bad. I didn't realize I had it not set up properly. So this is what the bias tape looks like, and of course all these are open. I'm just gonna go over and hand sew them back in. I just don't feel like dealing with it right now. Not very good. That says a lot about me. Anyways, we're just gonna treat it like it's folded in half. And I don't want to leave the edge like this. I think I'm gonna fold it over and sew it, and that'll be my edge. But I need to place my straps, and I cut the tie ends that are thinner to about 20 inches, and I use the silk ones because I find like they're flimsier and better to use, and I just like to backstitch over the ends so they don't unravel. Now I'm going to sew them to the wrong side of the fabric, like so, and I'm going to sew them 3 inches in from the side, so after I fold it in half from the side seam. Now that everything is pinned, I'm just going to sew them down. Make sure they don't go anywhere. Alright, welcome to my least favorite part, is putting the zipper in. Actually, just kidding. I'm trying to keep a positive mentality. It's actually like not too bad because this edge is already finished and we're using an invisible zipper. You can put the zipper in any way you want to. I kind of kept these edges raw so I can just fold them in. Like, there's no method to my madness. Anyways, actually I'm going to start with the other side. I just like to put the zipper in a little farther more just because it's an invisible zipper, and I like folding the top like in this direction, kind of like this. Like, honestly, I don't really put my zippers in properly, so take that with a grain of salt. I like doing the harder side first just to get it over with, but essentially because this is going to be folded down, I'm not really too worried about what this top area kind of looks like. And I stopped before I even reached the end, and I like sewed a bunch of bias tape because I'm so scared of the end falling off. I should snip this off. This is just dangling. Ridiculous. Anyways, I'll just do the other side the exact same. So now when I flip it inside out, perfect little zipper. And honestly, I could have done a better job for this side, but genuinely, I don't care enough to fix it. Maybe I will in the future. But as you can see, the bottom is looking ferocious, absolutely ferocious. And to solve this, all I really do is overlap this tie with this tie. I try to go to this part of the zipper where it starts like overlapping, and that's where I start sewing. And here we go. Oh my god, the sound of the silk getting caught on the dog's teeth is awful. That looks pretty good. That looks flat enough. It's not going to really be noticeable. Fabulous. This is all kind of done. Yeah, so believe it or not, I actually prefer it with the exposed bias tape on, even though I did a horrible job on this and this. So I'm just going to fold these ends in, sew them down, and then I'm just going to sew a little square, I guess, around the straps. Here are the two dresses. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I finished them all in like 2 days. I was working on it on and off. Probably could have done both in one day, but it's good to take breaks. Anyways, so they're the exact same size. The only difference is that this one has a folded over edge. Look at that raw edge. Wah! And this one I just put bias tape over and sewed it. I don't know which one I prefer, honestly. Like, they all have their own pros. This is obviously like an accent, I guess. Well, it's the same color. I could have done a better job because like it kind of dips just right here, but otherwise it is perfectly straight. This one is like, it folds better because, or drapes better because it's made out of thinner ties. By thinner, I mean like, it is thinner ties, like silkier. There's a lot more silk in this one. These ones are more synthetic, and that's why they're so much thicker. Like, all of this like pattern is so thick. But, way easier to sew, way easier to sew the synthetics. But I do like the feel of this one better. I just talked for 5 minutes and I didn't even have the mic on me. Oh my gosh. Anyways, this is the blue dress, and I think it looks awesome. I think tying them in bows is very cute. And you see why I suggest you use like the silk or thinner ties for like the bows, just because you have to tie them and it just looks better if it's thinner, I guess. Super cute though. Yeah, fits a pair of shorts, pretty roomy. It's really hot out right now. It's over 30 degrees, and obviously I'm inside, but I'd feel comfortable wearing this because it's like literally only this part is really touching my body and the rest is just kind of like free flowing. My floor is so squeaky. I am so sorry. I'm so happy with it. Are you happy with it? And I think it would be cool to do crisscross ties or wear it as a halter. Obviously it doesn't really stay up. I mean, it does stay up, but it's a little loose up here, so that's nice. It's so cute. I'm so happy with it. Okay, the red is also very cute. I feel like the blue is more classic tie and this is more, I don't know, fun, I guess. But yeah, the only difference between the blue one and the red one is that I just use bias tape on the top seam instead of folding it over. It is slightly more comfortable in the sense where it's less bulky, but that might be because that dress is made out of thicker ties and it might not have to do anything with bias tape. I don't know. I think it's real cute though. And this one drapes a little different because it's thinner because of the silk ties. So that's really interesting. So maybe in the future I'll make one out of like very, very thin or as thin as I can get silk ties, and I feel like that'd be really cool. I think this was a successful project. It's very cute. Oh, that's cute too. That is cute too. Okay. In the future I'd like to make one more, maybe in purple. I feel like a purple one would be very cute. Or a pink one, but it's not as easy to find pink ties, obviously. So cute. I'm so happy with it. I had such a fun time doing this, and I upcycled a bunch of ties that were probably gonna go to a landfill. Also, I think in the winter, this with a turtleneck and some thick tights and leg warmers would be so cute. But it is 30 degrees outside, so maybe I'll wear it tonight and see if it's actually very breathable or not, because it's quite thick. And I know like there's a lot of tags and whatnot on the inside. I don't have an issue with it touching my thigh. I know a lot of people don't like that, but just wear shorts, or you can always line it. I think it's really fun to like leave it because that's the whole beauty of the project, is you don't really have to finish it. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!